Hello crafty friends, I'm Lien from Studio Kato and I am so happy to finally be back on the Alex Syberia Designs YouTube channel. I have been sick for a little bit, but I am feeling a lot better now, so I wanted to share one of my favorite products or projects that I made with the new release. This card only features sentiment products, which I love because usually they're not the sole focus of your card, but this is a great way to stretch your supplies. So I'm using this Expressing Gratitude stamp set and die. It's one huge stamp and one die, so it cuts out a bunch of sentiment strips all at once. It's very handy and great for this technique. So I am going to stamp this onto 3 panels. I have a leftover rainbow background, that's just some ink blending. I have matte silver cardstock and white cardstock. Now I don't end up using the white, so I'm not going to show you the stamping for that. But I'm just going to white heat emboss my sentiments on here. So this is specialty cardstock and usually that has a coating, so you might want to test out your heat embossing on this before you do this huge stamp. Just try it out with a little bit of ink and a little bit of heat embossing, just to see if it warps or it melts. This cardstock doesn't, so I really like that. It's matte silver, but you can use foiled cardstock as well. Actually, hot foiled cardstock would work perfectly for this because it won't warp. Now this is an ink blended background, but you can do any inky background. What you want for this is something with a lot of colors on it. Some sort of gradient would work, but also if you have an ink smushed background, that would work great as well. Just a lot of colors on there. It doesn't really matter if they're in any sort of order or if they're rainbow or not. I did have to stamp this quite a bit of times because it's on watercolor cardstock. So I wanted to get a great impression and I just stamped it a bunch of times with Versamark ink, and then I heat embossed it with white super fine embossing powder by Wow. So you can already see you are going to get a ton of sentiment strips out of this just from that one stamp. I love that. There are a couple of brands that have large sentiment stamps like this and then the coordinating dies in one piece. That's very handy, but I have been looking for a sentiment strip sort of product like this for a while now, so I'm very happy that Alex Syberia thought of this. You can very easily line up the coordinating die, and then I ran all of those through my die cutting machine. Now to start off this background, I am just going to give myself a couple of guidelines so I know that my first sentiments are on there straight. Now, for some reason, I still went a little bit crooked towards the end, but I just trimmed off a little bit of that background. So if you want to make sure you are going to end up with a straight looking card, just make your background a little bit larger to begin with, and that's going to help you out a ton. Now what I'm doing is just gluing all these strips on there, following these guidelines. So I have 3 guidelines on there, 1 horizontal and 2 vertical, and I'm just following those with my sentiment strips. It's mostly important to follow them with your first sentiment strips, and then you just go around all of the strips and butt the next one up against the previous one. And you don't have to fill this up with sentiments. You can also just cut out that die. I would use the coordinating die for that, but just cut out some blank pieces of paper. But why would I use the coordinating die? Because you end up with strips of the same width, and that is going to help out a little bit when you're building up this background. But it would be nice, and maybe it would give your eye a little bit of a break to rest on something that doesn't have text on it. But it would be nice to just cut out some blank paper strips. That would be fun too. And then you don't have to stamp this set twice, although stamping it twice isn't that much of an effort to make. So I really like the silver with the rainbow. It's more of a cooler rainbow. I used Concord and 9th inks for those. I really like them for rainbow blending because they blend out amazingly, and you can basically blend any color with any color. It will always give a nice effect. I'm not gonna lie, it does take a while to build up this background because I fussed around with each sentiment. I did take my sweet time with it as well. Just put on your favorite TV show or some music, belt along to your favorite songs, and it's going to be a great time. It is very relaxing to piece this background together. And as you can see, it is a stunning effect with that rainbow background. But again, any sort of colorful background will work here. It doesn't have to be rainbow, but because you cut it up, you are going to get different color variations in each strip. So it's going to look a little bit more chaotic, and it's just going to look so bright and fun. This is another sentiment product from the latest release. This is a Thanks sentiment die. It comes with the shadow die and the scripty die. I cut the shadow a couple of times out of black cardstock and the scripty die out of white 3 times, and I layered those together. All of the products will be linked below in the description, and I will also link the hot foil plate for this Thanks word. So it's a really fun product suite. You get the dies in one set, and then you can buy the hot foil plate separately. Now you can see that I trimmed my background down, and it's going to be a lot more straight, but I am going to prop it up on a piece of cardboard that is going to give a lot of dimension to this project, but it's going to be very sturdy as well. A lot more sturdy to go through the mail than foam tape. Once that is in place, I can glue the Thanks on top. It is going to go over the background a little bit, but I like that it goes outside of my frame. And I am just going to finish this off with a couple of embellishments. These are by Pinkfresh Studio, and I think I actually forgot which ones I used, but I think these are from Pinkfresh. I really like to use Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to glue these in place, especially on a lot of embossing, because Nuvo Deluxe adhesive is pretty great at gluing things to glossy surfaces. I love how bright this card is, and I love how it wasn't quick to make, but it was very relaxing. There wasn't a lot of thought put behind this card. You just have to put some time into gluing the strips together, and again, I think that is a very relaxing time. I hope you like the card, and I hope you check out these products. I very much enjoy these. These are some of my favorite products from the latest release. I love a good sentiment stamp, and this is a very handy one to have, especially if you get the coordinating die. I apologize for still sounding a little bit congested. I thought I was a lot better than this, but it's been so long without a video, and I really wanted to put one out today. I hope you still enjoyed it, and I hope you try something like this for your next card. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.